When you're creating your indie film content marketing strategy, you have to think about the different formats that you can use. As filmmakers, we only think about video as a piece of content that we can create. We create a behind the scene videos with interviews, or we create the movie itself, or we have a trailer. Rarely, we also have some pictures that we take when we are filming, and then we post them occasionally on social media. But the formats that you can use are very diverse, and you have to keep that in mind because people are not only looking to learn about what you have to do or to learn more about the story that you're developing in video format only. Video is usually considered one of the hardest type of format people can produce for social media. So the fact that you can do that easily is already a big plus. So remember that you could also create content that's audio, like talks and podcasts. You can create written content like articles, guides, or even playbooks. If you have a fantasy movie, for example, you could create a book that is exploring the lore and the background stories of the different characters and the world that you created. You could also create illustrations and infographics that you can share on social media, as well as short animations and motion graphics if you need to. For your indie film marketing strategy, I would recommend widening the types of content that you are putting out there. You already have the movie, and you might have some trailers and clips and segments from the film, which is very entertaining type of content. And entertainment is usually what people are going for when they are watching your film, which is great. But the other type of content you can create is educational content, which is teaching people and answering questions they might have. This is particularly useful if you are developing a documentary film. And educational content is one of the best ways people can learn about your film, because they might go online and ask the question. And then if your video or your article is answering this question and it pops up, they start learning about you as well as getting their questions answered. So some types of educational content are videos, are conversations with experts, but also expert roundups where you get a few experts on a certain industry or a certain topic to share their ideas or their thoughts, which can be in written form or in video form if you have interviews with them. You can also have workshops, and you can have talks where you are teaching people different things. And at this stage, try not to promote your movie, because this is not what people are looking for, even though this is what you want them to learn about eventually. What you're looking to do here is to give them true value. Be human, be honest, and teach them something valuable, because this is the only way you're going to create an emotional connection between you and your potential audience, and eventually they'll move to the next phase and start learning more about your film. The other type of content you can create is behind the scene content. We do not usually leverage behind the scene content properly. There's a lot of potential, because behind the scene content is an in between the entertaining part, which is the film itself, and the educational content, which is not talking about the movie at all. Behind the scene is that bridge where you are picking up this problem that they might have, and you're explaining how your movie is tackling this issue. In your behind the scene content, you might be talking about the story and how it was developed. You might be talking about some technical skills that took place and some practical effects that happened during your filming. Or you might also be answering any question they might have. If it's a documentary film, you can talk about the research that happened before and during. And this will also answer a lot of their questions and give them also a taste of what the movie might look like. Keep in mind that a content marketing strategy is a long-term strategy. You're developing a community that will outlast your first film or your second film. It's a community that will be following you over the years. The more you give it content, the more you give them movies, and the bigger this community is gonna grow. If you're creating something like a podcast, for example, keep in mind that this can take up to 18 months before it starts developing into something valuable. So don't give up after 1 or 2 months of creating content. You have to keep going, because this is the only way you can actually develop a community that is solid and that will be helping you promote your next film. The other thing you have to keep in mind is the honesty. You are talking to humans, and we are constantly bombarded by different advertisement and promotional content. You're not trying to promote and sell anything. You're trying to give value. You're educating people, you're entertaining people. And this is all you have to focus on. One last thing is that your competition is not only other films in the same genre. It's not even other films in general. When you are in a film festival, for example, or in movie theater, you are competing with other things that are happening in these people's lives. It might not be things that are solving their problem, but it might be things that they need to do. For example, your movie is definitely also competing with chores that they need to do. If it's laundry day or cleaning day, then they might choose not to go to the movies because they really have to finish what they need to do. If they have a night out with friends, they're going to go have dinner with friends or they're going to go party, you're competing with that. Sometimes you're also competing with them just staying home and being on their couch watching some dumb show. So keep in mind that when you are making a movie, when you are promoting a movie, these are things that you're also competing with. And your movie and your content needs to be good enough to get them off their couch to go and watch your film.